All right, man. I'm doing a movie review for the Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's gonna be some spoilers, obviously. Um, I will say this: check out the movie review playlist. It was the best of the franchise. You usually don't see trilogies. The third one would be the best. You usually don't see that. It was, what you expect. It also, I always kind of like had an emotional thing about Guardians. That's the difference between a lot of different Marvel Universe movies and DC Universe movies. It kind of was is more touching. Even after the first one, when they defeated Ronan, it was kind of like, okay, now we could become the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then, at the end of the second one, where the blue guy dies and Quill finds out that he really like kind of looked at him as a son, and you know and that he didn't only bring him in because that Yondu, excuse me, he didn't only bring him in because he was he was skinny and could fit in tight places and stuff. He always looked at him as a son, because the crew used to get mad when he used to get Quill the benefit of the doubt or whatever. But it was excellent movie. Um, you know um, Excellent movie, but for the most part, shout out to Ben Ranch for being in the movie too. Didn't expect him to be in it. Sylvester Stallone was in it again, um, for sure. But basically, this one could pretty much revolved around Rocket. Um, kind of his origin, which was a big mystery to a lot of people. Rocket the raccoon. He actually accepted being a raccoon, spoiler. And pretty much how he was pretty much created, genetically modified, and how the higher evolutionary kind of like out of all these years he was able to evade them. But he was so important because he was his only creation that was like smart like that. He didn't really have no kinks, and he really couldn't understand why Rocket didn't have the kinks that the other species that he created. He was just trying to create the perfect species in this perfect world. He was trying to create counter Earth and perfect species that did perfect things, and he wanted pretty much to play God. He was, there is no God, and Rocket by mistake ended up being one of his greatest creations. He was a genius. He figured out the algorithms and stuff, and when Rocket figured out that him and his friends, a part of that batch, what, 8689 crew, whatever it was, they were not going to be part of the new perfect world, and they was going to kill them. And other species and animals was going to be a part of the perfect world. you know Rocket did what he had to do, did what he had to do to try to get free. The high evolutionary killed his friends, but it pretty much was like, they'd be currently kind of where they at, obviously just after the end game and Infinity War and all that. And Quill is still like sad that Zoe Salato's character, Gamora, she ended up being with the Ravengers now. You know what I'm saying? Since Thanos gone, and we got to remember, Thanos threw her off the cliff, but she was the only person that got threw off the cliff that was able to time warp kind of back to the beginning or whatever. And she didn't remember none of the stuff, how he won her over and all that stuff. So she didn't remember any of that. And he's still kind of like mad about her, and and then Adam Warlock come in, try to hurt um Rocket and bring him back to the high evolutionary he was created by him and stuff of that nature. So, that's kind of what it was. And they would talk about currently, and then as Rocket was sick, because they couldn't heal him because he had a bypass in his system. So if they used the medical pack on him, he would die without the bypass code. So that's pretty much what it's centered around, is trying to get the bypass code from the high evolutionary people so they can heal Rocket. And then they end up figuring out, pretty much what he want to do, and all his creations and stuff, um, and all that stuff. And it was an emotional roller coaster. It'd be exciting and emotion. It had a great balance of action, and a great balance of storyline, and a great balance of emotion. Um, it was one of their better movies. My favorite one they done was Winter Soldier. It's my favorite Marvel Universe movie of recent. This new kind of this genre. The hand to hand combat was phenomenal in that movie. This This movie will probably right up there behind that one for me, bro. Like very emotional, a lot of action, great storyline. They did a great job. Um, and then long story short, they heal Rocket or whatever, and he got to face the Higher Evolutionary again. He decides not to kill him. And then for the most part, at the end of the movie, they chose to go their separate ways for the most part. Quill told Rocket, who accepted being a raccoon after he seen the Higher Evolutionary had some more raccoons trying to recreate what he did with Rocket. Um, he accepted being a raccoon. So his name is Rocket the Raccoon. It showed you how he got his name, um, all that stuff. And they was able to pull up what actually happened to him because they stole the files from the Higher Evolutionary and all that stuff. So, um, like I said, it was a very emotional film, man. And at the end, people went their separate ways. They broke up, and Rocket became the captain with his new crew or whatever. So, Quill went back to Earth to see his grandfather and all that. And, they talking about Volume 4, but it seemed like it won't be another Guardians of the Galaxy, at least anytime soon or whatever, the way it ended. But, I mean, it was a great way to end a trilogy. I mean, I can't think of too many more trilogies that's like that. More trilogies kind of as bad as the Godfather 3 than as good as this one. So it was amazing. James Gunn did a phenomenal job, and now he's kind of spearheading DC now. But this is phenomenal. They talked about making sure he was up on code or up on game into everything that was going on in the Marvel universe with the end game and all that stuff. And I don't really have any real complaints. I mean, I seen Mario, another phenomenal movie. Um, I mean, it's been a nice little movie role. I didn't get a chance to see Air, by the way, but I mean, Groot spoke his first human word, said "I love you." So, like I said, a lot of action, great dialogue. It was just a very emotional film. I was telling some other people that I almost cried a few times in the movie, and I don't even cry in movies. That's how emotional and you tied into that, man. And it's kind of like watching the favorite episode of your favorite show come to a conclusion, kind of like when Fresh Prince came to a conclusion and Will was the only one that stayed in LA and the house was empty. It kind of gave you that feeling multiple times through the movie, man. Um, like I said, I can't have one real complaint about the movie. Like Mario, I didn't really have one real complaint about it. So it was a great way to kind of end that. They ended the Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, Great way to end it. Still had a lot of humor. Still had a lot of great music. Um, same great characters, some new ones. So I mean, phenomenal. Everybody was phenomenal, man. And it's hard to make the trilogy, the third movie in the trilogy, the best one. I believe in the Captain America thing. I think the Winter Soldier was the second one. A lot of people don't like the first one because it was more informative. You kind of more background, Then in the second one there was more combat. So I think the Captain Civil War count as Captain America. It was good too. So yeah, shout out to them, man. Phenomenal job, man. By Marvel, by James Gunn. Hopefully he can take that momentum and he can take that momentum and head over to DC with that momentum. They're doing a Blue Beetle and all that type of stuff. Hopefully they're able to come back with Peacemaker, which was probably the best thing Marvel had going for them outside of the Batman. Um, now you got the Flashpoint coming up, so um, you know, so they're looking to do some pretty big things, with James Gunn over at DC. But this kind of give you a lot of hope. Phenomenal, man. Truly freaking phenomenal this film was, man. And it had a great balance of everything that you look for. Um, Everything you looking for, man. It has a phenomenal balance of it, man. Action, storyline, emotions. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, phenomenal movie, man. Shout out to them. And obviously it was a big mystery about Rocket for a lot of people, for all people. Kind of like you was hoping they didn't want to keep that mystery in the chamber or keep it in a different clip, kind of like Star Wars, where how George Lucas didn't want people to know uh, about where Yoda actually comes from. And it's supposed to always be a mystery and all that type of stuff. So it won't be a Yoda origin movie or nothing like that. So it's always going to be kind of like a mystery or whatever. So I mean, that is what it is. A lot of people not gonna like that, but hey, check out my movie review playlist. Spoilers here and there, but I left some stuff out of there, so it won't be a complete spoiler. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live or drop video. Financially, you want to support the channel? Cash App $ CJ Good 313. Venmo CJ Good 313. PayPal link description. Hit the link tree. Follow me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the whole nine. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.